What's going on, guys? Howtoadvance back with another video. And today I'm going to show you how to fly a drone. If you stay until the end of the video, you will be able to learn these techniques and be on your way to applying them. Make sure to smash the like button and subscribe, and let's get into the video. Drones are becoming increasingly popular in photography and videography. In fact, for professional photographers and filmmakers, they've practically become standard production equipment. Nonetheless, many drone users purchase these expensive devices solely for recreational purposes. And if you're one of those people who wants to get in on this cool new hobby or turn it into a lucrative career, this article is for you. This guide will teach you how to fly a drone as a beginner. By the end, you'll understand your drone controller, have a pre-flight checklist, and a few techniques to practice. How do you control the drone? Understanding the drone controller. Drones are typically controlled by a remote controller or a transmitter. This useful device is similar to gaming or toy remote controllers in that it has buttons and joysticks that serve various functions. More professional models can be quite intimidating, and it may take more time for a user to fully utilize their functionality. Regardless of how complex a drone is, the pilot uses their thumbs to operate the left and right sticks, and most models have roughly the same selection of features and functions. The drone operator can move the drone up, down, left, right, and sometimes diagonally by pushing or pulling on the sticks. The four main functions and most important aspects of any drone's controller are yaw, throttle, roll, pitch. Left stick, yaw and throttle. The left stick controls two aspects, the yaw, rotation, and throttle, altitude. What exactly is yaw? Yaw refers to the rotation of the drone in either a clockwise or counterclockwise direction. Pushing the left stick, left and right, along the x-axis causes the drone to rotate clockwise or counterclockwise. This allows the user to position the drone to face different directions without having to move it from its current location. What exactly is throttle? Throttle controls how much power the drone's motors receive, resulting in faster or slower flight speeds. Pushing the left stick along the y-axis, up and down, changes the altitude of the drone. When flying, users frequently control the throttle, usually in conjunction with the functions of the right stick, so it's important to become familiar with this function. Right stick, roll and pitch. The right stick controls actual movements of the drone along the x-axis, the roll, side to side, and the pitch, forward and backward. Understanding roll. The term roll refers to the movement of your drone to the left or right. The quadcopter will fly and roll along the left and right sides if the right stick is pushed along the x-axis, left and right. This is especially useful for avoiding trees and other obstacles without changing the drone's altitude or y-axis position. What exactly is pitch? Pitch is the angle at which your drone tilts forward or backward. Pushing the right stick up and down along the y-axis moves the drone forward and backward. It may appear to be extremely simple, but using this with the throttle and the drone facing you rather than the other way around makes it more difficult, so practice is required. Step-by-step instructions for flying a drone as a beginner. After you've become acquainted with your drone and its basic commands, it's time to put them to use by actually flying the drone. Here's a step-by-step guide to a fun and safe drone flying experience that will help you get started with drone photography. Number 1, secure an open area for practice. If you already have a drone or are at least thinking of purchasing your own, you probably already have a place in mind for practice. It can be any open outdoor area, as long as it's safe and free from obstructions so you don't end up crashing the drone into a tree, wall, or possibly even other people. Also, make sure that the place permits the usage of drones so as not to break any laws. Number 2, place the drone in the desired location. First and foremost, locate a suitable takeoff location. Check that the drone is properly positioned, ideally in front of you and on a flat surface, with you and the drone facing the same direction. Do this before each flight, and don't try anything else until you've gained enough confidence and experience flying your drone. Number 3, connect the transmitter to the drone. There's one more thing that you'll need to remember before takeoff: sequencing. Here, we start with the steps that will require practice. Right before you switch on the transmitter, push the throttle way down. Turn the transmitter on, and then connect the drone's battery. This is a very important sequence that you'll have to follow both before taking off and after landing. After your flying session, follow the steps in reverse order. Disconnect your drone's battery and then turn off the transmitter. Steps for before takeoff. 1. Push throttle way down. 2. Turn transmitter on. 3. Connect drone's battery. Steps for after landing. 1. Disconnect drone's battery. 2. Turn transmitter off. Number 4. Test your takeoff and landing skills. After completing the previous steps for pre-takeoff preparation, slowly push the throttle, left stick, upwards and watch the drone lift off. With the help of the roll and pitch commands, keep it in place without moving forward or to the sides, right stick. After successfully launching the drone a few feet above the ground, try to land it as smoothly as possible. Keep it steady and gradually lower the throttle, left stick, until it reaches the same spot on the ground. Number 5. Experiment with hovering. The next thing you'll be doing is practicing hovering. Lift off, step 5, a few feet above the ground and keep the drone as steady as possible. It may appear tedious for first-timers due to the concentration required. But practicing this will help improve your flying skills, especially at the start and end of your flying sessions, and keep your drone safe. Focus on mastering these fundamental maneuvers, takeoff, balancing, and landing, first, as they will help you execute more complex flying techniques later on. Number 6. Rotation should be practiced. Another important maneuver you'll need to be familiar with is rotating the drone using the yaw control on the left stick. Launch the drone, hover, and then gradually move the left stick right or left until the drone rotates to face you. Many people find it difficult at first because you must pay close attention to the orientation of the drone, particularly where its front and back are, but practice makes perfect. Create a mental image of yourself inside the drone, flying it, to help you fly it no matter which way it is pointed. This is how experienced professionals stay on course regardless of how much the drone spins and turns. And it also helps them visualize how they should fly the drone to achieve winning aerial photographs. Don't worry if you still don't get it on your 5th try. Many people don't get it even on the 10th try. What matters is that you are gradually, but steadily, becoming more accustomed to controlling how the drone behaves. Number 7. Practice these drone techniques for beginners. Now that you've mastered all of the fundamental controls and maneuvers, it's time to consolidate all of your knowledge and experience into a single session. This is also the point at which you will be able to use the right stick to move the quadcopter. Here are some examples of controls and movements you can try out once the drone is in the air. Travel in parallel paths by using the pitch control, right stick, to move the drone forward and backward. And then the roll control to move it left and right stick. Using the pitch and roll controls, draw a square, right stick. Fly forwards and backwards in a parallel path with the drone facing the flight direction by moving the drone forward. With the pitch control, right stick, stopping, rotating the drone 180 degrees until it is facing you. And moving the drone forward again until it reaches its original position. Draw a square by moving the drone forward with the pitch control, right stick. Stopping. Rotating the drone 90 degrees to the left or right with the yaw control, left stick. And repeating the first 3 steps until the drone returns to its original position. Draw a circle with the yaw, left stick. And pitch, right stick, controls, right stick. Draw a figure 8 with the yaw, left stick. And pitch, right stick, controls, right stick. Important drone piloting hints. While drones may appear to be toys, if used incorrectly, they can cause property damage and even harm to people or animals. Being a responsible pilot necessitates learning how to control a drone correctly and safely. 1. Become acquainted with the controls. We've gone over the basics of your transmitter's controls. But it's clear that this isn't enough. You'll eventually have to get used to your controller so that you don't have to look down at it every few seconds. You'll need to practice, much like you would with a video game controller, until you can't forget about your controller and focus on the mental image of yourself as the pilot. This allows you to perform different maneuvers as easily as you can move your limbs, while focusing on achieving well-composed high-resolution aerial imagery. Important things to remember before flying your drone. Number 1, battery should be charged. It goes without saying that in order to enjoy uninterrupted flights, you'll need a fully charged battery. Make sure you only use the battery and charger that came with your drone. If you bring backup batteries, make sure they are compatible with your drone before using them. Number 2, drone registration. The next step is to register your remote-controlled aircraft. Any SUAS, small unmanned aircraft system, weighing between 0.55 and 55 pounds. With the FAA and assign it a registration number. These drone registration requirements help to hold owners accountable in the event that their aircraft damages power lines or causes an accident. Drone registration with the FAA is now as simple as creating an account on their website, though you can still register on paper. It will cost you nothing, but registering now will cover you for the next 3 years. Number 3, learn the rules and regulations. It is critical that you follow the recreational drone laws for everyone's safety, including your own. Here are the basic rules you must follow whenever you fly your drone for fun. Remain under 400 feet. Keep flight speed at or below 100 miles per hour. Fly only during daytime. Aircraft must weigh under 55 pounds. Yield right of way to manned aircraft at all times. Keep aircraft within line of sight at all times. Fly in accordance with community-based guidelines. Notify airports and air traffic control before flying within 5 miles of an airport. Do not fly over humans. Do not fly from a moving vehicle. Install NoFly apps. As you may be aware, there are areas in each state where drones are not permitted to fly. These are known as no-fly zones, and violating the rules may result in a fine. There's also the issue of the weather to consider. Fortunately, there are apps that you can use to locate and monitor these no-fly zones. You can easily search for lists of reliable apps for the job, or you can go straight to the following. B4UFly, FAA-developed app for indicating fly, no-fly conditions and more. UAV Forecast, a good alternative for the B4UFly that provides detailed information on weather conditions in specific areas from a small aerial vehicle perspective. Hover, great for beginners who want simple displays of real-time weather reports and fly zones, and a fly, no-fly indicator, as well as a flight log for recorded flight data. Tesla Field Recorder, handy for detecting, measuring, and recording magnetic disturbances that could potentially disturb flight operations. Instead of asking yourself or other people if you can fly your drone in a particular area, you can find the answers right on your mobile device. Examine the user guide. One step you should never skip is reading the instruction manual. Familiarize yourself with everything you need to know about your drone, from its physical parts to its flight features, to avoid problems and inconveniences later on. What if you use a drone for commercial purposes? Before flying a drone for commercial purposes, every operator must obtain a drone pilot license from the Federal Aviation Administration (FAA) Remote Pilot Certificate. Interested pilots aged 16 and up must pass a test at any FAA-accredited knowledge testing center, which currently costs $150 for the initial exam. Following the successful completion of the test, the pilot must complete the FAA Airman Certificate and/or Rating Application (IACRA) for the pilot certificate. If you fail the test, you have 2 weeks to retake it. If you only intend to use your drone for recreational purposes, you do not need to obtain this license. It is not a requirement under the FAA's Special Rule for Model Aircraft, Public Law 112-95 Section 336, which limits you to recreational use and only requires you to register your drone with the FAA, follow a set of safety guidelines, and fly your drone. How to look after your drone. It goes without saying that you should maintain your drone properly. Aside from being cautious when taking off and landing, ensure that the drone is kept away from dangerous obstacles and that it has enough battery power before landing. Remember to clean it after each use as well. Follow all manufacturer instructions, especially when it comes to battery power management. Is it difficult to fly a drone? Drone flying requires practice, but it does not have to be difficult. Some drones are easier to use than others. So until you're a confident drone pilot, it's a good idea to practice in a wide-open environment with a basic model with simple controls. Many newcomers prefer to practice with the assistance of a more experienced drone pilot for tips and advice while gaining experience and confidence. Begin in a location where you feel at ease, and after a few sessions, you'll be flying with confidence. Once you've mastered the art of flying a drone without making any mistakes or having any accidents, you can progress to a more complicated model and add photo-taking capabilities to your experience. Thank you for watching the entire video, good luck and stay tuned.